Okay, this is 6801 21st Avenue. This is the place where my childhood began. Actually, about 2 weeks. The first 10 days or 2 weeks, I was in an incubator and then came home. This is a 48 family, 6-story apartment house where my parents lived the first 13 years or so of my life. We lived on the first floor. The fence around is the same fence that's been there since I was there, though the ramp is new. We played stoop ball. This is the side of the house that I lived on. The first windows, the second windows where the air conditioner is the bedroom. It's a one-bedroom apartment, and that's the bedroom windows. The following windows, and you can see that the trees there's holes cut out of the cement to plant the trees. That's where I came to believe the earth was covered with cement first, before trees, and trees had to be planted by cutting a hole in the cement. And now here's the bathroom window, which was the source of many nights of terror, as passing cars flashed lights on the dead tree opposite the window and created ominous shadows into the bathroom that scared me. The next window over is the kitchen window, where I spent many years of my childhood. Here's the tree, or the replanted newer tree that replaced the dead tree. The next window over to the left is the kitchen window, where I spent many days of my childhood sitting on this saying hello to strangers, and which the famous event in which my father had to jump out of this window to rescue me from this far corner over in where the red house is and the green fence, where Jerry Bernhard was beating me up ferociously. My friends called my father, and he came to rescue me and save me. One of the happy memories of childhood. This is the street is now filled with cars, where it used to be pretty empty, and we played punch bowl on this street. Okay. And going around the side of the house, this is the backyard. This is actually where, when there weren't coal bins, barrels full of coal ash, we could actually play in this backyard when we were small. And that ramp leads to the basement, which was always a scary place. It's funny how small it looks when you look at it, and how much bigger it was in childhood. There's a back door that leads to the hallway. There's these 6 stories, cement, cold, snowy. Okay, and here we are at my elementary school, just a few blocks away from my house. PS 247, this is where I did my first 6 years of elementary school. And this place is, again, there's no gym, no actually cafeteria. The hallways substituted as the sports activities and dining room. For the cafeteria, we're here from 8 to 3. And my beginning of education. Pretty much the same building as it was before, as it was then. It is 2 blocks away from my house. You can see in the distance is my house. And now here's a famous corner. When I was in the 6th grade, I was actually the monitor in charge of the children crossing at this corner. This was one of the real kind acts of my childhood. When I was originally in the end of the 5th grade, they chose monitors and I wasn't selected. I was very, very sad and unhappy. And I think a teacher noticed. On the first day of the 6th grade, they called me out and said they had a vacant place and they'd like me to take the place. I think this was loving kindness. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm seeing here. I think I'm just looking at that corner again from another angle. Yes, I'm coming to that corner again. My beloved precious corner where I'd have a stick and when with a stop, and when the kids needed to cross, I could go out in the street and stop the cars and help the kids cross safely across the street. Here it is, a close-up look. my first sense of real responsibility. I was very proud to be a monitor. And even though it meant actually coming to school a little bit earlier and actually staying later, because we had to wait till all the kids left and then turn in our stuff. But I was very proud to have a kind of plastic belt, luminous belt like the state troopers wear that go around your waist and across your chest, which was kind of a proud insignia of the job. By the way, this school, there were 6 classes of each grade. So this was in my elementary school, and it was hierarchical. If you were sick, my sister was always in 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, and I usually was in the 2, which was like not the best students, but next best students. So 2-2, 5-2, 6-2. Okay. What is amazing is how many cars there are now, when there was so much fuel in my childhood. Okay, here we're back on. This is the New Deal Chinese restaurant on Bay Parkway, and where Roberta and Ira and I would go almost routinely for years to begin our Saturday travels from the Chinese restaurant to the Marlboro Theater movies. And this here we are in Setlow Park. From the time I was about 9, every Saturday and Sunday, early in the morning, unless it was pouring rain, I'd come to this park. But before that, actually, when I was about 3 years old, these are the swings that I pushed so hard I smashed myself in the face. I was 3 years old. I pushed the swings. Are made out of metal, and the frames, the chains are metal, and the frame of the swings are metal. And I pushed it with all my might and stood there as it came back to smash me in the head, which was not the smartest thing I've ever done. You can see. There it is. And that's exactly how it was with my mom pushing me till she got tired of pushing me and she was ready to go home and I wasn't. So I stood there, got off, she took me off the swing, but I refused to leave and stood behind it and pushed it with all my might, but forgot to duck. That could have been me. And it's the same Setlow Park, a little bit on the other side. This is where we played every Saturday and Sunday, where there's the basketball court. Sometimes we'd come with shovels to shovel away the snow. Behind the basketball courts, we'd play football, touch football. And a little further down, we had a kind of softball field, which was the serious softball games. Now here, on the other side, is my junior high school. This is Setlow Junior High School. I did 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. It was an art program, and this is, we actually had a recreation field here. That wall still stands where we play stickball, where you can play baseball with 2 people, one holding a kind of broomstick bat, the other a Spalding ball, and you make a strike zone on the wall, and if you get it past the guy with the stick, it's a strike. Otherwise he hits it, and how far it goes depends on the size, whether it's a single, double, triple, or a home run. And that wall is still there. And then we also had intramural football as part of the junior high school program. So that was pretty good. School hasn't changed much either. So I was in this school. Okay, now we're moving on back on the other side of the park. I said, I'm moving around the Setlow Park. Okay. Here we are in 1677 Quinton Road, West 2nd Street. The second house I lived at from 13 to 17.
That's just as crazy as America. It's okay.
Must feel different, huh?
Oh, this is different. My first girlfriend lived on the street down there. My sister used to live had the bedroom. My sister Roberta had the bedroom upstairs over here. And we had one telephone in the house that was way in the back. And there's it looks like the buildings are attached, but when you go inside, there's a separation between them of about 6 yards. And one day I was in the back on the phone, and I saw smoke coming out of in this corridor. I said, "Oh my God, the house next door is on fire! I'm going to go rescue them." So I started running through the house to come out to go rescue him, and suddenly I passed by and it was I had set the kitchen on fire, and it was my kitchen that was burning. So I had put something on the frying pan and forgot about it. It was in the back of the house talking to somebody on the only phone that we had. It had a short wire. So, oops. But these were pleasant memories.
Yeah, I bet. Shit, after 50 years, and you don't even live in the U.S. anymore? Shit, that's one hell of an experience to be able to see this house. Like,
Right. Well, since my kids grew up on what's called a communal farm, a kibbutz, they don't have any idea that people live this close together and this crowded. It's impossible for them to conceive not to be without animals, without. See, there is animals. There's animals. You see a dog. It's a real live dog. Yeah. So, with cows and sheep and stuff. You too.
Next stop is the JCH Community Center. During my earlier childhood, we went to day camp there from, I guess, the age of about 6 to 10 or so during the summer. And Ira was there and did his nursery school before regular elementary school. This is the JCH Community Center. It had, this is the side of it. Oh, this is not it. This is the other side. Whoops, we're back to the other side of the Sethlo Junior High School. This is a little bit out of order. Okay, this is the other side of Sethlo Junior High School's playground area. Then I think we're coming to the JCH Community Center. This was just going around the block. And that piece of that sign was out of place. So in just a moment, this is, I told you we played stickball and intramural football, and now they have basketball courts here, which they didn't have then. Now we're at the Jewish Community Center. This is, that's and upstairs on top on the roof is where they did the day camp. We had Uncle Irving. We start the day, and as you know, the Meltzers are not great at carrying a tune, but we start the day off, all the kids would gather up on the roof. There was a kind of a picnic area arrangement and playground, and we'd be singing camp songs, led by Uncle Irving playing on the piano. Long forgotten memories and long forgotten songs. Songs of camp songs to city kids. Now we're coming around the building towards the front. It's a pretty big building. There's all kinds of meeting rooms and activities, and there's a gymnasium, an indoor swimming pool, exercise rooms. It was pretty good. In the back we used to have it's an arts and crafts place. Here we go. Jewish Community Center of Bensonhurst. There's the sign. Let's do that right in the middle of here on Bay Parkway. Brooklyn is my home. Oh, here's some pictures from the Jewish Community Center, reminiscent of the basketball teams. I think in the 50s and 60s, this was a they had serious basketball players. This is a sign inside the JCH. An image of Coney Island. They have a drawing of Coney Island. I don't know what else is here. This is their front hall. All the insignias is one of their gyms, where I played many days, many of my childhood days of learning to play basketball, not very well. Here's some of the legendary basketball.
Close enough to see the names.
This is where the British town. this is actually called kibbutz. It's actually an outreach program for older people. And here's the roof garden that I talked about previously. The side street. Now we come to my high school. This is Lafayette High School, where I spent the 9th, 10th, the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, being a really good student, getting accepted to college, and being a good football player. This is where really my masculinity, I think, took shape, and my identity as a football player, and feeling like I'm strong and tough and competent and adequate. And there were some pretty good teachers here. I actually could take courses like philosophy of ideas, history of the world, that was taught in a way that really caught my attention, imagination, and interest. I think made me a more thoughtful person. It's strange, and this building is huge. I think there was like 5,000 students, if I'm not mistaken. I think in my own graduating class, there were 1,200 students in graduation. And here we come out to the back is the football field, which is much improved than what we had. Now they have artificial grass there. During the time I was there, it was mostly sand, dirt, and rocks. Very little grass. Here they even have a track and artificial turf to make it really a football field, so they can actually play games here. You had to be tough to play in Lafayette football. Okay, driving around the field to show off that there's grass from one end to the other, which is pretty amazing. Let's see how big the school is. This is just a high school. This is high school at the time, I said, that had 5,000 students. This whole video clip is 18 minutes long. I think we're into about the 17th minute already. After going to Lafayette High School, the last place to stop is going to be 86th Street, where many times during the high school time, after the football game on Saturday night, all the football players and the cheerleaders would meet on the corner of Bay Parkway and 86th Street, and usually hang out under the D train stop and either eating pizza in the corner. It's just, the corner there. There's the kind of girl I'd want to pick up on 86th Street when I came after the game. Here's the D train overhead. Now there's a kind of bank or building here. There used to be a series of stores, including the pizza place, where you can buy it by the slice for 25 cents, if I remember. And then just around the corner on the D train is Dubrow's, which is kind of a workers' cafeteria, where it's open 24 hours and you could hang out till New York Brooklyn pizza. The pizza parlor has moved but changed and changed.